Everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. For today's preview, as Munster host the Bulls, and both teams looking to try and really capitalize this weekend. The Bulls coming off a pretty big defeat, and Munster so far just 1 win out of 4, so really not been the start of the season to the Irish Giants, who before the season would have been tipped as one of the top 4 sides, really, if not 5 or 6, but definitely not sitting in 12th where they currently are. And Jake White was pretty quick to talk about the history of Munster and the fact that they are a European giant, despite the fact they're not playing particularly well at the moment. It's a very good Munster side, and it's Bulls are under pressure after, it didn't go well for them last week. And I think that, the biggest problem with South African sides, and that's why I think what was so exciting about the Lions tour, is the fact that South African sides have often struggled away from home. And we saw that last season. And the big thing about this season was the fact that they got a couple of wins away from home early, and people were like, cool, this is the thing. But a 35-21 victory for Warriors against the Bulls was pretty significant as well. I thought that in terms of a Bulls side that we would expect to have been able to get the job done. But nevertheless, they're up against Munster this weekend. It should be an absolutely brilliant clash. And Munster going down last week against Connacht, again, not a team that they would expect to lose to. So both teams very much looking to try and bounce back. In terms of the two teams, before you look at them, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. This is how Munster does line up. In the front row, Jeremy Lauman, Niall Scannell, and Stephen Archer. I think they're going to be very much expected to really put them on the front foot against a pretty inexperienced front row for the Bulls. You then got John Klein and Edwin Edogbo in the second row, but for me, it's this loose trio of Peter O'Mahony, Ty Byrne, and Gavin Coombs, which is really exciting. Peter O'Mahony is the only way I think you can sort of describe his performance is heroic. Proper grafter, does the dirty yards. He's willing to go where not a lot of people are going. And Ty Byrne has become an absolute stalwart in both Ireland and Munster, and for me, one of the best players in the world at the moment. You then got Craig Casey, who does partner Joe Carberry, big Carberry fan. And then you got Shane Daly, Dan Goggin, Malachi Pekatoa. Be interesting to see how he goes this weekend. Still not quite sort of operating at his peak. Calvin Nash and then Patrick Campbell. Off the bench for the men from Ireland, it's Diamond Barron, Dave Kilcoyne, Roman Salona, Thomas Ahern, Jack O'Donoghue, Conor Murray, Jock Crowley, and John Hodnett. In terms of the side that we'll be facing, this is the Bulls side that Jake White has named. In the front row, Pierre Mantanzima, Jan Hendrik Wessels, and Morne Smith. Mantanzima, Hendrik, and Wessels still quite new to the scene. They played a lot off the bench, haven't had a lot of starts in their career. Morne Smith, more accustomed to starting. But I think these two are going to really have to stand up if they're going to try and provide a platform for the rest of the side. It's the usual suspects of Walt Steenkamp and Ruan O'Keefe in the second row. And then you've got Marcel Coetzee, WJ Steenkamp, and Ulrich Lowe. The loose trio, Mark Verstappen will be playing off the bench. Ambrose Pierre is partnering to Jan Goosen, the turns to the side, no 4G pitch to worry about. So they are back to Ambrose Pierre and Jan Goosen, a Springbok capped halfback combination. And Jake White very much talking about the fact that both of them want to be getting back to that Springbok side. You then got Wandisia SIMELANE at 11. It's very interesting to see. That's his second game. He's now playing for the Bulls, but not at 13. And, Jake, I was obviously asked about this, and he was saying that, he's a young player and he needs to learn to develop to play at different positions. He said if you can get a utility player out of him, that will make him far more selectable for the box and will make him a better all-round player. I think he'll be very good at 11, to be honest. I think he plays a lot to his strengths, but we do want to see him at 13. But when you've got Harold Forster and Niall Pooh as your centre combination, Cornel Hendricks at 14, it's difficult to really complain, isn't it? Kurt Lawrence at 15 as well. He's just playing incredible rugby at the moment. And it's a very good bench as well. When you've got Bismarck Duplessis, Dylan Smith, and Jacques Van Nooren coming off the bench, as well as Ruan from Mark Verstappen, and Zach Berger, Chris Smith, and David Creel. It's a very good Bull side. The question is, does it have enough firepower? Can it do the job? Can it adapt to the conditions? Can the likes of Johan Goosen really ignite a spark? Because we haven't seen Goosen really come to the party yet so far this season. And if he's going to go on the end of the year tour, which just seems to be a bit of a given, he needs to start proving why he's going to go on the end of the year tour. So I think he's a player under a bit of pressure this weekend. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.